Hey guys, so how we doing? It is just before Easter. I had actually skipped an entire month because I was just really busy. The year ran away from me. But I also tried to delay this a bit so I could do like a Q1 review because there's a precedent sending the wrong. Let's not even get into it. But yeah, tariffs have been flying and stuff like that. And it's badly affecting markets, right? So I'm actually in the red. I tried to stall to see maybe somebody will bounce back, but then there's a long holiday, so it's not likely going to happen, right? And yeah, it's quite something, right? But the good part is there's a bit of money coming in, dividend season, as you know, which I think is something something to be happy about, right? But yeah. So let's actually get into it and see. Let's actually see where we are and see what is actually happening, right? So for starters, let's see, Okomo. I added 45 units actually because I thought it was like, a good opportunity. Most importantly, I am very long on palm oil this year, right? Those guys are minting cash. For instance, Okomo did, I think, end of year last year, they did about 34 billion profit after tax, which is quite something, right? Their revenue was about 130 billion in 2024. To me, that is insane. But for context, it was 74 in 2023. So you had like a what 120%, you had like a 73% increase, sorry, which I think is something. For Presco, those are the real boys, right? Presco, I added 52 units because again, I'm trying to play the game here and actually start to get more dividends so I can have more liquidity, right, throughout the year. And Presco did quite well, actually. Presco had 77 billion naira profit after tax, which is something because their revenue from 24, that's end of year last year, doubled, right? It more than doubled. They had about 207.5 billion naira. So like it was 102% increase from the previous year. So here's the gag, right? As you guys know, like I said, I'm big on palm oil this year. And also, not many people will start a palm oil farm, right? So you have an industry where the big people will be big for as long as they need to be, right? So it's quite good. USC, and I put that in there just because I wanted to diversify. I had mentioned earlier, I only added two because cash was tight. Things are actually quite expensive. While I'm here celebrating all these guys doing well, the sad part is that everybody's revenue increased because they are charging us more. So on one hand, you can be happy that the stock market is doing something, but on the other hand, bro, this revenue is not just coming out of thin air. Like everything has gone up, right? It's really something. Um, let's see. Boa again, normal. I only have five there, but yeah. These guys, I haven't actually looked into their numbers yet. I don't think it's out really, but a bit of context again on USC, and I don't know if the company is moving a bit funny. So they actually had a 64% increase in revenue, right? 197 billion, which I thought was quite impressive. But their profit after tax increased 90% to what? I believe it was, let me check, about 17 billion, which I think is okay. But they didn't give us enough dividends, right? So it's a bit of a downer because right now, yeah, the price closed at 29 naira and I'm losing 3,500 there, down 10%. Presco, I'm actually down less than 8%, which I don't really mind because, yeah, I mean, it's a long term game. I'm talking grandkids type of game, right? Where was I? Jai's, yeah, it's all right. I don't know. I've not actually looked into Jai's numbers yet, if I'm being honest. I've not actually had time for that, right? But let me show you something that was quite interesting. These guys. So my GT, I have increased by 730 units because I want to actually start. What's the word they say in stock market? I want to start stockpiling GT. There's a reason. Again, I'm trying to switch this portfolio into something that is going to be giving me regular dividends, right? I'm switching fully into a dividend portfolio. I know it's a YouTube portfolio and it started as a sort of a lesson journey curve. But I've realized that I could actually turn it into something a bit more lucrative for myself, right? And maybe in the long term, who knows where YouTube will take you to. And then it could sort of sustain itself and, you don't even have to think about it anymore. So I'm trying to switch into more dividend stocks, and I will explain a bit more when I get to the dividend angle. But anyway, GT did a fantastic one, right? And if you follow this channel, you would have seen me at what's that thing they did last year, Fashion Week. But this year, I'm going to attend Food and Drink because they did pretty well. Shout out to Shegun and his team. They did pretty well. So they actually had 1.26 trillion profit before tax. That is insane numbers, right? And they gave 7 naira in dividends. Again, more on that in a bit, which I think is really fantastic. So yeah, I've upped my GT holdings. Sadly, I think I bought like a hype, although not really a hype. Sorry, wrong way to put it. I bought it, but then when Trump started, everybody's price like dropped because everybody was flying to safety, trying to hold cash because they don't know what's going on. So the stock market did a bit of a downer, right? Which is why right now I am here losing 4,000 naira, on the whole portfolio. I don't think it's too bad. On GT particularly, I'm down 2,300 naira, which is about 3%. Not bad at all. First Bank, which is now First Holdco. Shout out to Femi Otedola and the boys. They are, doing a very nice one there. For them, though, I wasn't really impressed with the dividends, but hey, I always follow Femi Otedola, right? Because he tends to create value in whatever companies he goes to. Yeah. I would have followed Tony Elumelu, but I don't have money because I can't have all the fugays. So that's First Bank, UBA, GT, Access, and Zenith. If you notice, I don't have Access, Zenith. Sorry, I don't have Zenith or UBA. So I only have First Bank, GT, and Access. So I have FGA. I don't have the full fugays. Mostly because I don't really care so much for Zenith Bank. Like, it's really not for people like me. I remember back in the day when I wanted to open a bank account and they told me Zenith is not for people like me. But GT was like, guy, open it for, as low as whatever you have. And that thing stuck with me. I swear to God, it stuck with me. Since then, I've just not cared for the company. So yeah, that's my GT thing. I was on First Bank before. So First Bank is actually doing quite well, right? So they actually had, what did they have? They had interest income of about 2.4 trillion, which was not bad, but mostly profit after tax was 738 billion naira, which is quite fantastic for the year of 2024, if we're being honest. And I think that was a full jump of 138% from 2023. Quite good. How many units did I add for my First Bank? I added 200 units, which is not bad. So now I'm at 1,000. Fidelity, I have 2,000. So what happened is, sometime in February, I think, they allocated our rights issue from last year, which was 9 naira 75 at the time that we bought it. So yeah, I'm up quite significantly, really, on that, which I think is a good one. In fact, yeah, it's almost double, which is holding the portfolio quite well. Impressive. But yeah, I will probably start buying a bit more into Fidelity because I think in the long term, they might, grow into pushing into tier 1 bank, right? We have the fugays at tier 1, but they might just push. When somebody is like not an A-star student, but is an A student, but very high A student, that's the way I see Fidelity, right? So yeah, something for the long term. This Access Bank, I added 90 units, although the reason I haven't actually bought Access of late is because they've not allocated my full units. So I'm still going back and forth with the registrars because I paid, they bought it, they've credited it on something, but it's not showing in somewhere. It's ridiculous. So I'm still going to wait because I don't want a situation where you now buy more, then something is missing somewhere and then blah, blah, blah. And it's long. But yeah, that is why I'm here. Maybe I didn't add anything. MTN, I added 1 unit just because, why not? Although I'm not really, the cost of data now is starting to annoy me. I'm now paying 5K for, I think is the weekly thing, which used to be 2K for 15 gig, but now I think it's just 5K for 11 gig or something stupid like that. It's really upsetting me. Yes, MTN is making more money and all that, but it's really upsetting me. You'll notice I didn't even talk about their numbers because the company annoyed me because of that increase in price. Anyway, I have a new guy here. Oh, Cornerstone, by the way, random. I didn't add anything to Cornerstone, actually, sadly, but they did do quite well. They had about 22 billion profit after tax for the year, which was up from 14 billion the previous year. So about an 8 billion increase, right? After tax, which I think was quite impressive. I didn't add anything yet because liquidity was tight in this Q1. Similar with UPDC and all that, right? But there's somebody here I want to talk about real quick. And that is this fantastic company called Computer Warehouse Group, right? So a friend of mine was doing an analysis on like some not so popular stock that you could buy, right? And we found these guys. So they're a top player in that technology space, right? And it turned out to be a relatively good bet, right? Because there was a time this thing hit about 8 naira 90, which my friend had predicted at the time. We did our models and did everything, and we saw that it was quite undervalued. We still believe it is, right? So this one, I had this thing here before. Let me see if I could show it. I had a yeah. So this one you can see here is purely capital appreciation, right? Alongside my target unit. Because genuinely, I think there is something there, right? I genuinely think there is something there. So we looked at it, they're quite a decent player, and then I went into it. And yeah, it's up today, 4%, which is not bad, considering everybody in the market is chopping game. But they also give dividends of about 40 kobo. So I'll get into that in a sec. But what I want to point out is for Computer Warehouse Group, right? Their revenue was up 97% last year, 46 billion. So picture my reason for palm oil boys, but this time in computer space. Not many people have the reach they have, the reputation they have. They are first movers already. They are entrenched, right? So you will see that most people would have a deal with, like most companies, they'll have a deal with their computer hardware or something suppliers, and they tend to stick with them because you want somebody that can give you service, somebody that can give you, repair, somebody that you've built a relationship with. And I think they have that. Well, not that I think, the numbers show that they have it, right? Their profit after tax last year was, let me see if I could find it. I can't find it actually, but pre-tax profit was 4.4 billion naira, which was up 290% from the year before. So for full end of last year, it looks like, their numbers were actually quite decent, which I think was really something, right? Most importantly, their software solutions part of the business contributed about 35% of total, revenue, which I think was decent, right? Again, their revenue was 46 billion last year. Something is something, is something to look out for. Something to look out for. But yeah, that is that one. And overall, you can see that my total purchase cost 758. But currently we are losing 4,000 and we're at 753. The goal on this channel was to officially become a millionaire by the end of the year, at least on the NGX YouTube portfolio I have. And I think it's possible. Genuinely think it's possible. Yeah, I genuinely think it's possible. We're almost there. We're not there yet. Let me see. Where are we looking at? That's 10 million. Sorry. So we are looking at a scenario where we need 241k more before the end of the year. So that's about 20k in investments between now and I did divide it by 12. So about let's see, we have 8 months left this year. So that's about 35k left per month. It's doable, right? Slightly over minimum wage. Yeah. But yeah, it's doable. It's actually doable. Real quick, let me run through the dividends part of this portfolio, which I think is the good part, right? So far, these are the dividends that have been announced, which I think are quite impressive, right? So the ones in yellow, I haven't actually been able to get information, or they haven't actually announced yet and all that stuff. So I'll wait and see, right? So this is the dividend that's been announced so far for Okomu. We're looking at 26 naira. Fantastic, if you ask me. Presco, we're looking at 42 naira for the end of last year, which I think, if we're being honest, it should have been more, considering their, I don't want to go into the numbers because they need to get too technical, but considering how much money they made and how much cash they have, they should have been able to give us more than 42 naira, which is, is what almost everybody was saying, which I think is fair, right? It's a bit, we should have gotten at least 60, 70 naira. But alas, we're where we are, right? We'll take it and we're happy. UACN gave us 22 kobo. Like I mentioned, it's not great, right? Boa Foods gave me 13 naira. So that my 5 units, right? My 5 units of Boa just gives me money every year. Although not a lot, but just passive income, right? Is something. Jais hasn't said anything. GT gave us 7 naira. Now you see why I said I am genuinely trying to double down on these guys, because I think it's a be good liquidity as the years go along, because Shegun has promised us that every year he will increase the dividends he gives us, right? First Bank gave us 60 kobo. Yeah, I know. Fidelity gave us 1 naira 25. Access gave us 2 naira 5. Now you see this First Bank one, I'm going to double check it. I think it might be wrong, but I'll double check. Maybe in future videos I'll highlight the correct thing. Access Bank gave us 2 naira 5 kobo just after they announced that they bought the National Bank of Kenya. So I guess Access Bank is going to be more of a long-term appreciation kind of stock now instead of anything else, right? We're now looking at a situation of a growth stock, hopefully, because they're just buying everybody across Africa. And then Computer Warehouse Group, like I mentioned, they gave us 39 kobo. Right? So here's the gag. Oh, why is my Excel freezing? Okay. Here's the gag. So far, by the end of H1, this is what I'm expecting in dividends. 19,000 naira. Not bad at all, right? As at today, I mean, it offsets my loss of 4,000, which is about 15,000 in profit, which is not bad at all, right? Not bad at all. But the thing I just wanted to show mostly with the dividends is, again, if you take your time and you invest slowly, right, it compounds over time. So real quick, let me show you something. This was the dividends, or these were the dividends I made last year, right? And I calculated at the beginning of this year that this might be what I'll get, based on all these guys from last year. But so far, right, that's 7,000. So far in Q1 alone, I've already gotten 19, or I'm expecting 19, right? Which it's positive, right? It's a step forward because it's just constant growth. So the whole point of this is just, again, this portfolio, my YouTube portfolio, is just for something to be here for people to see that it is possible to grow slowly in Nigeria on the NGX and make money. It is possible to become, in quote, a millionaire, at least in Naira, for as long as the currency has value, through the Nigerian Stock Exchange, right? It's just a slow numbers game. This is a portfolio I started when 2023, I believe, and I took seriously last year again just because of the channel. But, slowly, we're getting there, right? So this is your cue to invest right now. If you have, free cash, put it into one of these guys. Like I said, I'm rebasing this portfolio. So by the next time you watch these videos, maybe that will be in Q2, or maybe that will be in May or June or something. Not yet sure when, but I'm going to rebase the entire portfolio to focus more on people that are giving me dividends so that I can know that genuinely I do have passive income. Yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Leave a like and all those things that they say YouTubers should say their followers should do. But yeah, catch you guys in the next one.